Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have hopefully a great match. I haven't actually seen it, but I have high hopes because I follow these two, and Rip almost always has an interesting match to watch. Same with Deegis. If you're not familiar, Rip is probably one of the top players, if he's not already the top at the time of recording. Deegis is probably the most notable Advance Wars YouTuber on the site. Both are really interesting to watch. Rip, I describe kind of as a tactician. He likes to play COs that require a high skill level to play. Deegis, I'm trying to describe it. I guess the concept is kind of like forced moves, how you would kind of describe baiting your opponent. Basically, you bait them into thinking they have a great move, they're going to get a great transaction, but in all honesty, you have something prepared. Okay, so let's talk about this map. This map is a 3 base, 1 airport. This one notable base is the most forward, as well as it's not easy to get vehicles out of here. However, foot soldiers, it actually would be really easy to get out. So you can assume this is probably going to be your infantry base, where because you're not going to be making vehicles on all bases all the time, this is probably the one you're going to guarantee always just put an infantry on, maybe a mech. One thing you can do with it is if you draw a line like this, what you can do is you can alternate where you send an infantry every turn and have two balanced sides. If you wanted to do that, you can forgo that and just have a strong V weak side, like arbitrarily we're just going to do strong V weak. And you can have it be similar to other maps like that. You can go with that strategy. A lot of strategies just seem to work well on this map. One that I would say works on this map not so much as other ones is that you can do infantry out of this base, and then when you have the money to drop all units on a base, like let's say, all vehicles on a base, so vehicle, you can drop a vehicle here, and then it can go down here and help reinforce this side to maintain your unit count on this side with more beefy units. There is an airport. It's a little bit more tucked away, more back than the bases, but that's not going to be an issue. I'll show you later on. One thing to note, because I think it's worth noting, is that there are 2 mountains here. And one thing that does kind of inhibit is convenient front switching. So ideally, the 2 fronts are going to be like here and here, right? The 2 enemy lines. So normally you'd want your units here, and then you would cross over here to move them to do a front switch. You can't do that because these mountains are in the way. So what you end up having to do is you either have to take them back into your area, basically retreat, which then leaves you open to be just pushed into. Or you go down and over to this area. And the only issue with that is that if your opponent is also in this area, he can kind of see what's going on. As well as if you get stuck on this very open area, it's likely your opponent has infantry on these, so he can see what's going on. And then you have these little these cities over here. They're kind of in a choky area. So for strategic reasons, you probably don't want to be wasting too many of your vehicles over in an area like this, but you do want to try to get those and take them over. So it's going to be kind of a decision. Do you try to push in and try to take those over, get those over from your opponent? How early do you push in your units into here? Because if you have units in here, they're not here. And it's just a whole interesting there's a lot of different little things and strategy you can think about on this map. To go a little bit further, let's throw up some reinforcement lines. That's not my reinforcement line. Yep, I'm what you call a professional. Oh, here we go. So this is player 1's reinforcement line, 2 count. So two turns to get there. Here's player 2's. The only thing notable for this, it's more important what goes on into the 3rd reinforcement line, but what's notable here is that these 2 comm towers, because of where they're positioned towards each other, it's really not likely at all that these are going to switch at all, that they're going to get captured by your opponent. So this one is almost always going to be player 1's, this one's almost always going to be player 2's. Not likely to change unless someone gets greedy at the same time the other person really messes up. And I know there's a lot of little dots on the map, so to make it clear, a little more organized, easier on the eyes, I'm going to remove those. So here we can see the reinforcement lines for 3 count, and what you would anticipate is that between here is where most of the fighting is going to happen, between these 2 lines. Ideally, that would allow you a better shot at even trades, right? To not get ganged up, because you could feasibly, because of where the 2 line is, blue feasibly could, let's say, fight in beyond this area if he wanted to, and still it would only be the opponent's 3rd round of reinforcements. But then if the enemy decides, hey, I'm not going to retreat, I'm going to retaliate, then it could potentially get you more damage than would be ideal. All right, I'm going to take away that one. And here's where I'm going to show you the reinforcement lines for air support. It's basically going to be just 3 turns it would take to get a unit out there. And this is just to demonstrate the concept that how useful is air support on this map. And as you can see, copters, it takes them 3 turns to get pretty much around the same distance as vehicles. So they're a bit equal to vehicles. Of course, for the price, you'd prefer to have more things like spend that money on tanks and vehicles like that. But you're going to definitely want battlecopters sprinkled in there nicely. And to some extent, it's going to be really nice because remember that mountain issue earlier. Battlecopters it doesn't apply to them because they can just fly right over that. So they can actually front switch on this map fairly easily and fairly well. Even if you're down, let's say here, it is not unthinkable that you can go right back up to the action, go back there, help. And the big reason is because vehicles can't get on these rivers. You can get in the river and you can fire from the river. You can support your other units with them very well on this map. Okay, if you want to see it, I have. Is it this one? Yes, the opponent's line as well. Not that it makes a ton of difference, honestly, but great. Which one am I missing? This one. All right, and just because, let's go over the 2 units that they're using. Great. So they're using Jess and Sammy, and I think this is a really interesting concept for the match, because basically one has bad infantry, one has good infantry, one has bad vehicles. The other has strong vehicles. So, directs in general. But pretty much they're nearly opposites of each other. And that, I think, is going to lead to a really interesting dynamic. Because Sammy could potentially, because she has that 1.5 capture game, she can get really strong in the capture game. Where Jess doesn't particularly do well in the beginning of the capture game, but it's through her interactions throughout the entire match that she starts to roll and gain advantage. Both of them, I would say you could have both the power and the super. You could use it depending on the situation. I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting CO matchup. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's just kind of self-explanatory. What I do expect is that Sammy's definitely going to have Jess may not be able to use recons effectively against Sammy. I don't think her recons are strong enough to take Sammy down. So we may not see a recon opening from Deegis. I am interested to see how the transport opening, if Rip does a transport opening. So we're just gonna get right into it and just move forward. So standard so far, nothing out of the ordinary. So this is interesting. Rip goes right away for this. Usually, I would have gone over here and then send a guy later on to get here, because but maybe because you have the chain, you have this one and then you can go straight to that one. So maybe that chain is actually. I'm not used to watching high-end players do the capture game. I'm used to watching lower elos play it. Maybe that's why I'm a lower elo. Oh, but Deegis does go for recon. Now that I said that about not expecting a recon, that sounds kind of stupid. Because one, Deegis loves recons, and two, he basically loves vision, and he's going to need vision for this. I don't feel like he can stop a cap. The harassment game against Sammy is not very easy to do. Alright, let's see what you go with. Back to it. That's interesting. So Rip starts with the tank. One opening that I saw and I kind of liked was that, and it's rare, but an APC opening, and it's usually just because you can get an APC out one turn earlier than you could get a battlecopter out, and that's purely to help you go a little bit faster in the capture game. Also, APCs tend to be a little bit more durable than battlecopters, so in some points like the mid-game where there's APCs, you can make a little bit better of a wall if you needed to use it for such. I like this. He's waiting to get this comm tower because he doesn't need it. Rip's waiting to get the comm tower. He doesn't need it. That's not when engagements are going to happen yet. And he's going with the battlecopter opening. I'm sorry, transport copter. What the heck am I smoking? But I anticipate not seeing a single vehicle, possibly a single vehicle not being made up here. He might actually make Max, and I anticipate Max. I think Max would do well. We're gonna see. and an artillery. I'm actually interested to see what he's going to use to defend with that. We'll see. So he's pulling his tank over here. I'm assuming he's going to try to hide it. I don't wonder if this was a good roll. Sure, if that's all you can see. I wonder what his thought process is for this move. Because it's not like this guy's threatening anything, really. He's not threatening to go onto a city next turn. He's not actively trying to capture this. He already captured it. So next turn he's going to be at 7. I'm not sure what the thought process is. Because again, if you were trying to bait with this, my thought process would be like, you have a tank in reserve, you have an artillery in reserve, you have something to handle and try to shoot at that tank. But it would be so easy unless he pulls off and pulls a tank there. Like, you can see that's going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He knows that's going to happen next turn. In fact, hold on. If we go back a move, I love it. I love it, Rip. This seemed like a weird place to put his tank, but he puts it here because he knows the meta is to put your recon on this tile. He has to know that. He has to have that level of insight to do that. And so when he goes to hit this, now D just knows that he's screwed up because this guy's gonna move and he's gonna go pow. I feel like he just wanted to make use of this recon somehow. I think I really like that move, Rip. I do. A+. So he's finally building a tank now because he knows he's going to have to. Whoopsie. So, Rip, what are you accomplishing on this turn? And then, of course, so he does this. He builds a wall, it looks like. And this might be to protect the tank because he doesn't know what's going on. But it also sets him up, if no one does anything, to take this city next turn. This is also a good threat on this city. The question becomes, do you put this unit, or do you put him on this, or do you put him here? The nice thing is that Jess's infantry is not going to do very well against infantry walls here. Whereas the other way, Sammy's going to help, infantry can help break open infantry walls. Ooh. Yep, little boosty here. So what this tells me is that there's two things he can do with it. He can get the unit as far as he can to try to get the contested cities, or he can worry about getting the maximum amount of movement aid, movement buff as he can. So if he were to, like, let's just say move it here, and he could get these guys using boosts and boosting off of that. But this tells me that he's going after the contested cities, and he's in a good position to go after this city. And this guy can't really do anything because he can't see him. So if he went there, it wouldn't be worth it. He'd pretty much either be going on the mountain or here. And another battlecopter. I keep saying that. It's a transport copter. But he's playing Sammy. He's going to want to use those mechs. He needs to get those mechs out there with some transports. Even if you're not playing like Sammy, being able, especially in the mid game, being able to get your infantry out there is can be a huge game changer. Because to get infantry to the front line takes several turns. And by that time, things change. You can end up losing. Alright, D, just come back. Come back from that little snag down there. He's being very cautious on this northern side. Pulls the recon out. I mean, you're deterring that, so yeah. If he didn't move the tank there, he would never have known, and that would have been bad for him. So that's a good move for on Degis's end. Rip needs to see what he's dealing with. Smart. He probably knows there's things hiding in there. I do like how Rip is going after. Yeah, he might get this. I don't know. It seems kind of even right now. It's too close to be able to tell. So he got first on this city, which is going to be hard to dislodge him. I really thought this transport copter was going to be used for the mech. Apparently he's going to use it for this guy, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this works out. He's going to put a mech there, right? Mech! Knew it! And he has an artillery in the north for defensive air positioning. And he does make a recon, probably for vision. Probably for vision. That's going to pick up the mech. He has a tank preparing to hit. Positioning his units in forests. Boosting. Yeah, it boosts. I don't see how great that I mean, you could... Oh, it opens him up to getting this guy being able to get this while keeping something in the forest. Sure. Yeah. Alright, do you just... Come back for me. Why do I keep saying come back? He's not like he's in... Like, this is early game. It's not like he's behind right now. It's still anyone's game. Are you gonna finish him off? Great. But you don't have a unit to put on the... Neither does him. I don't know if you can know that, though. He doesn't have... Rip doesn't have one to put on the unit anyway. So, so he did that so he didn't see the tank coming. That's a good thought process right there. Making sure that your opponent... Being aware that what your opponent can see, and making sure they don't see your unit. The important pieces of information. You gotta use both of those. Yep, there he goes. Using both of them to try to stop that cap. It sucks, but like, look at this. It's not a good trade. But then again, you don't want Sammy to get the income advantage. Well, here's an anti-air. That's... It's at least good. Well, it's good on two accounts. I would say it's more beneficial against Sammy than not. Because one, she's going to need transport copters. She's not going to be relying on battlecopters too much in a game like this. They're probably going to be sprinkled in. But those transport copters you're going to need, and they're surprisingly good against mechs. They're not cost affordable, but if it comes down to having to waste a little bit of your anti-air on a mech versus having that mech take huge chunk out of, let's say, a tank or something more expensive, you're gonna want to do that. It's not about, at that point, it's cost reduction of the damage reduction that you're gonna receive. Yep, I like this. Screw capturing it. Make sure all his units are gone. You want to take his units out. Oh, that was interesting. He uses it to boost onto the city to help heal that guy. Oh, that's... Hold on, I'm going to go back. Okay, so he does see the tank there. He wants to see what he has. When does he drop the mech? Because you should drop the mech, in my thought. That's great. Clear him off of that. And you're making an infantry wall. And you have a mech here. 1, 2, 3. So you know he can see the mech. And you're using that as a deterrent into attacking into this. Yes. Because it's... Well, he can see there's no other infantry or anything that can get here. So unless you have you don't want to put a heavy hitter unit here, and he can see you don't have any light units here. I mean, you could use this this guy here. That'll be easy to dislodge and just go boop, boop, bam. I like it up here. I think up here, Rip definitely has the advantage. Down here, it's a little bit more of a toss-up. And the first battlecopter. See, Sammy still wants battlecopters because they're great maneuverability in here. As well as if they're just going against tanks, it's fine. It's not going to do as much damage, but it's still usable. You gonna put something on that city? Because you just kind of showed where that where that artillery was with that. Was it worth it? Was taking out this 8 HP infantry worth letting them know where your artillery, that you have an artillery and that it's there? Because you can deduce, you see this movement, he sees this whole area. I mean, I suppose, yeah, there's only one real place you could have hit that from, and that's this tile. 1, 2, 3. Here you couldn't have done it. So you let him know that. Was it worth it? I don't know. Wait, what was that? Oh, he's retreating that. Sure, we'll go with that. It seems kind of even the way they distribute their units. Wow, that was something you don't normally see want to do, but I guess in this case it works out because Jess has just overall better infantry vehicles and it directs for that matter. And because Sammy doesn't have as good as ones, she can't counterattack for as much. So that was not as good of a trade as you could have gotten, but it wasn't a bad trade, honestly. Unless, Sammy has, like, a mech in here, but I don't think he knew that. That's better. Just need to get something to drink. I'm interested to see what Rip's plan is, because... Oh, okay. See, this is the one issue with Sammy against Jess, sorry. Is that even on advantage terrain, it wasn't a good trade. It was a alright trade, but wasn't a great trade. On this one, I think Sammy heavily relies on those mechs. I think that's what's going to come down to. You're going to need a good amount of mechs. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Protecting the mech, good. On this one, because I want to say that because your opponent is Jess, you want to be somewhat careful with doing like victory marches. You don't want to go too far into your opponent's territory, because then your infantry is just going to get destroyed. And then once you lose your infantry and your foot soldiers, it's kind of game over for Sammy if she doesn't have those. She needs those. She needs a steady supply of them. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go back and look at this. So Deej's just pulled back, and what Rip did in this case is also pulled back and reformulated his units. There's some thought process there I'm not fully understanding. So let's just stop right here on this turn. As we let's see stats. Oh, you can't see stats that well. It doesn't seem, they seem about even right now. Both of them are about to get their power soon. Interested to see what happens. Oh, he's gonna take out that that vision. Ooh, and that's what you want to see. You want to see him take out the unit on the mountain and put your own unit on there. So one, you do get greater vision, but mostly you want to make it so they have to dislodge you. They have to waste units to dislodge you before they can get vision and make their proper turn. Oh, he's not using the... Ooh. He could have gone and take a shot at this tank. But he's going to pull it back and use the double time. Maybe he'll use the double time. He's waiting for a power. I think what he wants... He doesn't want to give Deejus his power for free. Like, let Deejus start with his power next turn. But basically, Rip definitely wants to get the power bonus before he starts attacking with those mechs. Like I say, knowing when to back off is one of the most important things you can learn. I hope to learn it someday. So Rip's balled up. He just doesn't have a good... I'm going to say a solid foothold for the sake that his units are kind of spread apart. If you include the mechs units, Rip has more units overall. And there's no reason he can't just do a nice, slow, steady push. Let's look. Now actually might be a really good time to look at... Nope, not that one. At positioning. Not that positioning. I want... Where the heck did I put it? This one? This positioning. No. This positioning. So what I really like right here is at the north, Rip positioned himself over here, right? Pretty much, except for this guy, who's on a mountain. He's beyond his opponent's reinforcement lines. That's very good. I like that. Down here, he's not so much. I guess you have to be... Well, then again, his opponent's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because he's dealing with these units, maybe it's okay. He's trying to keep these... get those cities. So maybe it's okay. Maybe it's rather good. Let's look at... That one doesn't tell me anything. Deejus is playing the same game. The same game right here. Same game right here. I think, if anything, although he doesn't have his units set up in a beneficial way down here. He is behind this, so that should help him. But at the same time, Rip is set up to get this city. Is it just one city? Yeah, it's just one city left. He has to get down there. So you don't want... Sammy already has the advantage of having a cheap tank alternative. You don't... So she can save up. You don't want her to get too much ahead of you in terms of income, because then that just starts to compound and you just see bigger units being thrown at you that you can't afford. But when it comes to like positioning like that, that's why I like those reinforcement lines, because it helps give you an understanding where approximately you should be positioning your units to receive the least amount of damage, but to be ready to pounce on your opponent. All right, moving on. Developing more pieces. Okay. Okay, so I feel like you would have wanted to go on the city because of the defense. I think in this case, one, he wants to stop people from going on there. Two, I guess he really wanted to see what was in that forest, I guess. Oh, he's going for the push. I don't know if that's a good decision though. But he's not going for the power this turn. Ooh. Now he pops the double time. Wait, did he have it? He just didn't need it. So here's my thought. You get the extra 10%. Take it on this guy in this action right here. Unless I'm completely missing something. Sometimes double time's underrated. Unless it's the Sammy mirror, then. Actually, I would say it's very situational. If you have a lot of mechs, it doesn't matter which one you take. And he trapped the tank. And protecting this capture. Are you going to do anything with this tank? Another battle transport copter. Why? Because he knows that he's about to get hit, and so he's going to need another one to keep funneling out those units. Because right now he's using this one as a wall, this one as a wall, which, yeah, that's why you need artillery, as D just needs artillery. So, ooh, he's kind of screwed over here because he needs to dislodge this first before he can hit that and pull it back. He doesn't even have that. He doesn't have a unit that can go over there. He just is kind of screwed. He may lose this wing. Unless... he got a lot of deaths this turn. He has to come back. Can he? I don't know. Overdrive. He needs the super. Get those foot soldiers, man. What? What the heck was... Are you seeing this? This right here. Keep your eye on that. I don't understand what just happened. He just deletes his unit. So right now this doesn't look too good. This he has a strategic advantage in. He's gonna have to play it close because yes, you do want to attack this, but there's also these tanks you can see. I would even just bother attacking this tank. Just send this guy down. It's my thought process. Not that my thought process means anything. But look at this difference. 20 grand difference. A little over 10 unit difference. Man, that is significant, and I just noticed there's a little bit of cutoff up here. We're gonna pretend like that wasn't this entire time and just keep moving. So he does take that down. He's trying for this one tank. I guess that's fine. Oh, I thought you were gonna attack that. Oh, you can. Oh, sure, you can do that. I was gonna have it used for a tank, but okay. I guess he doesn't want to stretch out his units, which is probably a more safe bet. So he's doing a push, he's backing away. Oh! That was just bad luck up here. Look at that. Look at that. Oof. He's got to be going for this, right? He's got to be going for this one. But then again, you're still pushing into your opponent, and you can see he has a mech. He's going to be able to hit you. He might have other tanks because he's been reinforcing this line the entire time. And he's going to keep he's going to keep at it. Wait. What is going on down here? What have I not been noticing? What? Do you see this? We're gonna go back. He's just making intake. He's given up. He has to have given up, right? I've never seen that. I've seen people make missiles, but then give up. But like, he's still passing the game along, even though he's pretty much given up trying. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. I don't necessarily like what's going on, but I guess I don't like it because you're keeping your opponent on the chain, like keeping that you're trying to take this seriously, but you're just kind of goofing around, just wasting his time. That's so we're just going to keep moving forward. Pretty much it happened. Yeah, he's just messing around. The fact that you're messing around for like 1, 2, 3, like 5 days. I don't know, I just don't like that. I think it's the sportsmanship I don't like about it. But until then, I was doing pretty well. I think the game for me, the best move was this one right here. The one where he knows what the meta is. He subverts the expectations of it by putting the tank there. Right there so he can still hit it. That is amazing. But Rip, for the most part, was playing this game very tightly. The only time you don't see it like played very tightly is right here. But there's an advantage to that where he's trying to get these properties. Well, sometimes that just happens though in the game. You make some predictions about what your opponent's gonna do. You're slightly misguided. Well, you're wrong about it, and then your opponent could just win you over. Well, I enjoyed that match. I don't know about you. Yeah. Thanks for watching.